Esther was a queen, was a Jewish queen, beautiful wife of the Persian king. When the world was under Persian rule, Esther would be the queen who would save the Jews. Esther was an orphan all alone. Her cousin Mordecai came to take her as his own. King Ahasuerus was holding a feast for the officials, the servants, and Vashti the queen. Queen Vashti refused to come, and the king was angry as he sat on his throne. He commanded Vashti could no longer be queen. No longer could she come before the king. King Ahasuerus became lonely, and he ordered that Esther be brought for him to see. And so she was taken to the palace by decree. Then King Ahasuerus made her the queen. Esther was a queen, was a Jewish queen, beautiful wife of the Persian king. When the world was under Persian rule, Esther would be the queen who would save the Jews. Then the king prompted Haman, so everyone around within the king's gates had to bow down, yet Mordecai wouldn't bow down to Haman and the servants. Asked, why don't you do as the king commands? Haman was furied with Mordecai, but he disdained for him alone to die. So for 10,000 silver talents to the king gave Haman his signet ring, then ordered all his servants to seek and destroy every Jewish man and woman, girl and boy. When Mordecai heard it, he ripped his clothes, put on sackcloth and ashes, then wept. Esther was a queen, was a Jewish queen, beautiful wife of the Persian king. When the world was under Persian rule, Esther would be the queen who would save the Jews. When Esther heard this, she was deeply distressed, sent out her maids with garments for Mordecai to dress. Then she called Hatak to go out to Mordecai and ask about his mourning, the reason why. Hatak sent word from Mordecai back to Esther, the one in whose hand the king puts his scepter is the only exception to the Persian law, since Haman laid down money to destroy us all. Esther went into the court so grand. The king placed a scepter into her hand. The king asked Esther, what do you wish? She said that Haman and the king be at the banquet. Meanwhile, Haman saw Mordecai. When he wouldn't bow down to him, it filled him with strife. Haman called his friends as well as his wife to build a gallows on which to hang Mordecai. Esther came around to save the day. She would be the queen to see all the Jews were okay. Esther came around. She was no fool. She would not fear or give in to the Persian rule. At the banquet there, which Haman attended, the king asked Esther, "What's your petition?" She said, "For the life of my people and me, for we've all been threatened by the enemy." The king said, "Who is it and where is he?" She said, "This wicked Haman is the adversary." Haman terrified before the king and the queen, for his own life to Queen Esther did he plead. Esther came around to save the day. She would be the queen to see all the Jews were okay. Esther came around. She was no fool. She would not fear or give in to the Persian rule. Then they covered Haman's face and they took him on high, on the gallows he built to hang Mordecai. They hanged him on it by order of the king, and the king gave Mordecai his signet ring. Esther came around to save the day. She would be the queen to see all the Jews were okay. Esther came around. She was no fool. She would not fear